Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on episode 7 in week 8 of the NFL.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. We're back for another week of Sportz Asylum. We're here with my buddy LJ.
So,
We're here. We're going to talk about the Chiefs today. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to go in depth into most of the games and talk about what's going on in the NFL.
right.
We're going to talk about the NFC, how stacked it is over there in the north,
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then on top of that, what are the Chiefs going to do? Jalen Watson's been hurt. They've got wide receiver, offensive players have been down. So what are they going to do?
They're going to have to do something. Definitely a wide receiver. That room's 4 receivers right now.
Yeah. So, we'll be talking about the rest of that right after this. Like what you see?
Want to hear more?
Come on, join. Be an inmate with the rest of us.
Go ahead and subscribe. It's easy.
Yep. Smash, smash, smash. All right. Kansas City, San Francisco. It was in the Bay Area this weekend, 3 o'clock game here Central Time. Why don't you tell us about it, John?
I thought it was a great game. The offense got off to a great start. I felt like we established the run. We were able to run the game, run the ball. We were good in the red zone this week. I thought that was great.
Right.
Losing Juju early did not help.
Yeah, it kind of seemed to knock us out of a rhythm.
I mean, we went into the game with only 5 receivers dressed, so losing him right from the get-go really threw off the offense, I think, and they had to change things around. Though Noah Gray, that might have been his best game as a Chief.
Yeah, it may have been, and I think the game plan was kind of built around Juju, a little bit. So I do think it really threw a wrench in the machine.
And that might have been a flaw, doing that, knowing that Juju pulled his hamstring earlier in the week. That was maybe a bad call.
Yeah.
But
You can't coach for injuries. You just got to coach.
True, but and they probably had the game plan already installed by the time Juju got hurt, so it was kind of too late to back that out.
Right.
So
let Noah take those routes.
yeah, so they made the best of it. Noah had a great game.
Yep.
Kareem Hunt had a great game.
He absolutely did.
Couldn't ask for more from him. He's been everything we could have hoped for, and I'd say more even. In many ways.
I think he is more than what you would expect. What you should expect off of the garbage heap, so to speak, or the free agent pile. It's a different situation with him and Kansas City.
Yeah,
it's a totally different, unique situation. So you just didn't know what was going to come of it.
Right. He fits in this offense as well as anybody that we've had here, other than maybe Kelsey. But yeah, as far as the running back goes, he's been the best running back we've had since Jamal Charles.
For sure, absolutely. And nothing against Pacheco, nothing against anybody else who's come in here. But yeah, his rookie year, he put out upstanding numbers. And then he came out the second year, obviously. He was doing well, and, everything derailed for him. But, that's the past.
Yeah.
Well, that's the past. And he's back. He's doing what he should have been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. What could have been, you can't even dwell on
but
that. But
you're right.
Move forward, keep going, and just, use this kid as much as we can.
He gives the offense
Pacheco
juice,
back.
right?
And when we get Pacheco back, that's going to be a formidable backfield.
Yeah, but that comes to, it's a great backfield, but if they can just stack the box because you got nobody to beat them deep.
Right. And I hope the Chiefs are paying attention. The fullback on the other team, that's how they need to be using Carson Steele.
Yeah, well, Carson Steele's a rookie, and Kyle Juszczyk is a 10-year veteran.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's a totally different skill set.
Agreed, but that's who he needs to be modeling his game after, and that's who the Chiefs need to be trying to.
And maybe he
put
is
in those same situations. Well, that's what I'm saying. I hope he is.
Yeah,
that's who. That was a perfect example of what we should be expecting from him. I think moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, Shanahan knows how to use backs. I'll give him that. If it's only one thing that he knows how to do well, is he does know how to run the football, and he doesn't know how to use running back personnel. He can pick them just like his old man did, pick them in the late rounds, and just beat the piss out of them with that zone read, run, or the zone play that his dad made famous up there, and
Right. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, they were limited offensively too. They lost Debo early. I mean,
yes.
we had like one play and he was out
Yep.
with an illness, and then
Ayuk
got hurt.
tore his knee up. He's done.
Yeah, he's done for the season. So yeah, that game. Both teams came out worse for the wear, and neither went in very healthy to begin with.
No, they definitely wanted the game more, but the Chiefs are just a better team.
Right.
They're better at quarterback, even though both quarterbacks struggled. Right. The defense has played well. Both quarterbacks struggled. The coaching is just night and day difference.
Oh, I agree. Reed is a nightmare. I mean, Kyle Shanahan has to have nightmares about Andy Reid playing against him.
Yeah, he coaches circles around him, and it's not just Reid though. I mean, look, the Atlanta game, in the Super Bowl, they don't want to talk about it, whatever. But this 28-point lead, he lost.
Right.
He was the offensive coordinator, and then 2 Super Bowl leads that they've lost.
Right.
And him as the head coach.
Well, it's a pattern for him. It's 18 times this has happened. He's blown fourth quarter leads.
Yeah. So yeah.
Double digit fourth quarter leads.
And for a team that primarily runs the ball, I find that funny.
Yeah.
They should be able to run out the clock and win those games. That's what you run the football for.
That's the whole purpose of running the ball for the first 3 quarters is to be able to dominate them with the run in the fourth quarter to run.
Yeah, for sure.
To milk that clock. The clock keeps running on a running play unless they run out of bounds. So it is staggering to think that he can't close out games any better, and he hasn't learned how to do any better since. I mean, it's obviously a weakness, and it's a weakness for his dad. His dad had 33 of these, so I guess it just runs in the family with them, and
it's learned.
I mean, dogs learn from their mistakes. I'm sorry, just saying.
Yeah, so we talked about the running back, and we talked about we've got even if Pacheco comes back. Carson Steele, you got all these backs that can pound, but if there's nobody that can get down the field and get it open, they're just going to stack the box and nobody's going to be able to run. I don't care how good you are. If they're going to put 8 men in the box and, do single high, cover 0, cover 1, you're not going to run the football.
No, I agree. We definitely going to have to find an answer at receiver. And I don't think it's in that room. I don't know if it's on the practice squad. I would assume if the answer was on the practice squad, one of them had been dressed this week, right?
Right.
So they're probably going to have to go out and do something on that. But
we all keep saying that, and then they just don't, and they keep winning.
Right.
We said this last year. They had to go out and do it. Yeah, just like with Jalen Watson getting hurt. Everybody's going to be clamoring to get a corner. They're probably not going to do that either.
No, I guarantee they're going to look internally on corner. But I do feel like that the defensive back is an area we're deep. And if anyone can coach him up, it's Spags, and it's whoever our defensive back coach is. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But
Dave Merritt.
He's amazing. They do an outstanding job. Everyone we bring in seems like they pan out to be a good player, and give them an opportunity to shine. They usually shine.
Yeah, at least yes in the defensive backfield. Right. Guys we release get picked up other places, and they go on to succeed. Yeah, so definitely.
I mean, we played against a former one this week, Charvarius Ward.
But Jalen Watson was playing great. Yeah. I mean, playing absolutely fantastic. He was another corner that was out there just knocking it down.
Oh, he might have been out playing McDuffie in many ways. He was rating that high.
Yeah.
And coverage and what he was doing. And, this loss is going to hurt. Jalen Watson was playing outstanding. We had that 1-2 lockdown with him and McDuffie that we had last year with McDuffie and Snead.
Well, who's to say that we're not going to have it with Joshua Williams, or we're not going to have it with – they seem to keep just replicating it. I don't know if they have a formula. They have a certain type of player they're looking for, and they think they can mold that player into it. Is it character traits? Because they're not all the same. But I will say they are all big and they're all fast.
Right, and they're physical and they're quick.
Yep. They like to punch in the face.
And they're obviously smart and can play multiple positions.
And they like to tackle.
Yeah, and they're hitters. So, and we got a few of those guys. I think Najee Johnson was on a verge of being a starter last year.
Right.
He got injured. So maybe he can get back to form.
We got
Joshua Williams is good, and he's played well for us in times. And
you got all the safeties that play well.
And there's an undrafted free agent that we had in the game that got an interception for us.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name last night. Right
Yeah,
now.
it was hyphenated.
Yeah, number 30, and he looked great. Hicks, a rookie that we drafted, he got an interception. I'm just telling you, we got answers back there. They'll figure it out. I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about the wide receiver room than I am about losing Watson. I hate to lose Watson, and I hate the number of injuries we've already had this year. And I think maybe because we haven't had a lot in the past, it feels like it's catching up to us this season. I can't recall a season that we've been this bit by injuries this early on.
And 6-0.
And 6-0. I mean, we shouldn't be. Somehow we are. I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, is it too early to go back to my prediction at the beginning of the season?
About an undefeated season?
Yeah.
I mean, better knock on some wood or something. I don't know, but it's probably a little early. There's still some really tough games ahead.
Yeah.
We still got to beat Buffalo. We still got to beat Houston.
Yep.
We'll get the rest of our division, and the division games are always crazy.
They are crazy, but the division, we're already 2-3 games up on everybody in the division.
Right, and it's going to be the Raiders Super Bowl. It's got the Denver Super Bowl. And next time we play the Chargers, it'll be their Super Bowl, too.
I will. This is a spoiler alert. The Raiders don't have enough to beat us.
Agreed. But somehow they'll always play us tough, so we'll see. And their defense will give us fits because the one area that concerns me on our offense right now, and we don't seem to have an answer yet, is our tackle situation.
It's going to be a work in progress all year. What else are you going to do?
Replace Juwan at the end of this season is my.
Well, that's.
But yeah, we can't do nothing about him this season, and we just got to hope he gets better. But he's been even worse this season, I think, than he was last year.
Well,
and I didn't think that was even possible.
Yeah, things got to change on the outside. There's no doubt about it. But there's nothing you can really do in season. Not at tackle. You might be able, like I said, we were going to talk about receivers. You might be able to get guys like Thielen or somebody like that to come in on the receiver. But you're not going to come in and find a starting left tackle on the trade block.
No, there's not one out there. There's not one that
not at all.
Pick up. So it's either got to be Kingsley or
Wanya.
It's going to be one of those two, and that's our only option. And Juwan over there in right tackle needs to get better. Needs to play up to the level he's being paid. That's all I ask. Just pay or be the guy that you were in Jacksonville.
Well, it shows you just because you come over to another offense doesn't mean you're going to fit.
Well, I know.
And maybe he just doesn't fit. And they're doing the best with a square peg and a round hole, and they're like, this is the best we got. What other choice do we have?
Right, and you can't chip on both sides, so...
No, not if you want to have an offense.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody going.
Well, the best thing they can do is just pound the football. If they want to fix that problem, at least Band-Aid it till next year, they need to pound the football.
Right. Or maybe the left tackle just needs to develop. And if 4 out of the 5 is good, I'm okay with that because Jawan's functional if he's not committing a ton of penalties, but he's still not the best at pass blocking. As he's struggled all season, at least from what I've seen.
Pound the rock like a quarterback on prom night.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with that being said,
wow,
there was a whole bunch of NFL games this week. There was
whole slate.
A whole bunch, just like there is every week. Surprise.
Shocking.
Again, spoiler alert. But there were some good ones, some surprises, some ones that came down to the field goals and stuff like that. We're going to kind of go over all this stuff. Try, a new thing here and just be the NFL guys. So, first game out of the gate, New England versus Jacksonville. Nobody wants to watch that game.
Sorry, London.
Yeah, it's just Jacksonville's your team, so there's your present.
Well, we'll give you the Chargers if you want. They don't even have their own stadium. So.
Yeah, and Brady ain't been in New England for a while, so I don't know what kind of draw New England is over there. Yeah. I will say Drake May did not look bad.
No, he looked pretty good.
He had a few nice passes.
Makes you wonder why he hadn't been starting the whole time, but whatever.
Hey, rookie shouldn't start coming out of the gate.
I guess not.
I mean, Brissett's legit stopgap.
He's
right?
a journeyman, yeah.
Yeah, so Bigsby went off in the game. Thomas scored a touchdown. Their young players were playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Lawrence wasn't an absolute joke.
And their coach didn't get fired on the way home by winning, so that's good.
There you go. Yeah, so that's it. Then Detroit went to Minnesota.
Good game.
Yeah.
That one drew me away from Red Zone, and I had to sit there and watch that one. That was a really good game.
Right.
Both teams are. That division's gonna be crazy. We'll talk about that later, but that was a great game. It was back and forth. I felt like Darnold looked great.
Yeah, I mean, it was a field goal in the end.
Right.
It was back and forth. Right, with 5 minutes left, Minnesota, gets a fumble, knocks the ball out from Montgomery. They take it back. They're up, and then Detroit has to go down and win the game. With 4 minutes left.
I mean, Detroit looked like the better team most of the game. I felt like I felt like
they are the better team.
Detroit's got a lot of weapons on offense. They've got some really good playmakers on defense. The loss of Hutchinson was noticeable.
Absolutely. You can't replace that.
No.
They are the more battle-tested team. They are more playoff-tested. They made it all the way to the championship game. They know what it takes to get there.
And I don't know if he's the better coach between the two, but I like Dan Campbell better.
Well, I do too. I mean, I would rather play for him.
Right.
But I also don't think that O'Connell would be a bad dude to play for either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He's more. You get more charisma,
and he might end up being the better coach.
Yeah.
I just like Dan Campbell's energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
His approach to things, and he's outspoken, and I dig it.
Yep. So now they're both 5-1.
Yep.
Detroit's got their hands on first place, but it could go away from them quick.
Right.
They just got the tiebreaker, but that's the only thing keeping them from sliding out of first place. So NFC North is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's one of the divisions that nobody can slip up. Or that division literally could be sending 3 teams to the playoffs, maybe 4. We'll see. We'll talk about that later. Tennessee went to Buffalo.
Yeah, to get bitch slapped.
Yeah. Pretty much. Buffalo basically showed that they're the better team.
Absolutely.
In every phase. And
Cooper got a touchdown.
Yeah, Cooper got a touchdown right from the get-go. So
Mason Rudolph started for Tennessee and sucked.
Yeah.
Like you thought he would. They had 289 yards of total offense.
They're bad. They're a very bad team. I don't see.
Yeah, Derrick Henry couldn't play for this team.
Right, yeah.
They had to get rid of him. He wasn't good enough.
Bad teams make bad decisions. That's just what happens. And we'll talk about another one that did something similar later. But
Levis, he's a second-round pick. I don't want to keep saying that everybody sucks, but he's not very good.
They're not showing that they're a very good team at this point.
No, not at all.
And I think you're playing for a high draft pick at this point.
Was Vrabel the problem? I don't think Vrabel was the problem.
Obviously wasn't the problem.
No.
And they're getting a new stadium there soon, so they need to figure that out and get the team that will excite Nashville about.
Yeah. Well, Buffalo looked like, one of the AFC contenders again. Cooper fit right in.
But that's what Buffalo does.
Yeah.
They look bad one week, and then they go and beat the crap out of somebody the next week. So
yeah, so then we'll stay in the AFC week, and there was Miami playing Indianapolis. There's another one. Freaking Tyreek Hill has 147 yards this year. Since Tua is out. Excuse me, since Tua is out, and I keep hearing how McDaniel's this wonderkind or whatever you want to call him, this genius of a coach. I don't know if it's Tyreek or if it's McDonald, but you got to get that guy the ball, and Waddle's not getting it either.
No, I'm not even sure. I haven't watched their game, so I can't really put my finger on it. But it's got to be a combination of not having a good quarterback. They didn't have a good backup to Tua, and not having and when they get somebody, they immediately get knocked out of the game. I don't know. Maybe quit calling plays that involve your quarterback running the damn ball.
Right.
You got 2 of the better receivers in the AFC. Throw the damn ball. You got a great receiving core. Throw the damn ball.
Yeah.
So I don't get it, and then
I don't know how you let Tua come back. He's supposed to come back this next week.
Yeah.
He's not going to wear the big old Guardian helmet. He's not going to do anything. He's just going to go play his game. Well, his game is getting knocked the fuck out.
It has been.
You got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, it defies logic and reason.
I feel sorry for the guy because I would want to play. I would want to be young, and I would still want to be an NFL quarterback. I would never want to quit.
No, and to feel like it's being taken away from you would suck.
Yeah, but when he ends up with CTE or Alzheimer's, none of it's going to be worth it.
Right. Is it worth it now to play football? You've got to play football a lot in your life.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to ruin the following phase of your life?
Yeah, somebody's got to get some wisdom in his head and be like, listen, you already got your paycheck.
Right.
It's time to move on to the next part of your life. Hey, maybe you're going to be an announcer. Maybe you're going to be a high school coach. You can do whatever the hell you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but
just in social media marketing, you'll be rich.
He ain't going to do it. He won't do it. He's never even considered not playing.
I know. I've seen him. He's a tough Samoan kid.
Yeah.
He's not, they're going to play.
Yeah. So it is interesting to see Tyreek reminiscing about his days with the Chief on Instagram.
Oh, he's always talking about the Chiefs. He's just like Kareem Hunt when he was gone.
Yeah.
Just like Tyreek, He went and took the money.
Yeah, and then he saw Kareem come back, and he's playing well. I guarantee that
He's
stirred
jealous.
up some emotion and some jealousy. And
there's no way you fit him back into this team. Anyway, Seattle went and beat the shit out of Atlanta. Didn't really see that coming. Not the way the game went down.
No.
Seattle's defense just dominated.
Right.
3 turnovers, 3 consecutive turnovers towards the end of the game.
Yeah, it got out of hand real quick there at the end. But it was
How you like that?
Yeah, not so much, I don't think. I didn't see that one coming either. Atlanta had been playing pretty good going into that game, and it felt like they just hit a buzzsaw. And Seattle's defense is pretty for real. Because you can't, and DK Metcalf got hurt, so I can't point to a lot of weapons on that team offensively.
No,
and it's just
there's not much to talk about with that game.
And their quarterback's good, but I wouldn't call him great.
No, talking about 2 quarterbacks that are good.
Yeah, this next game, Houston traveling to Green Bay. That had a lot on the line for that game.
2 young quarterbacks trying to prove that they're the up and comers.
Right.
They're the next gen that's coming in.
Loaff looked more the part in this game than Stroud.
He looks good.
Yeah, he has this season
and last season.
Yeah, I think Stroud desperately misses Nico Collins. He
Right.
was his number 1 receiver.
Right.
And I think this is the first game that was really noticeable that he missed him. Now Mixon had a great game, and he's fit in great there. He's getting utilized better there than he ever did with Cincinnati, and I don't understand that.
Well, I don't care if he's missing Nico Collins or not. You can't throw for 86 yards.
I agree.
You can't be an NFL quarterback, and even with backup receivers, you got to throw for more than 86 yards.
Agreed. I agree.
So,
but maybe that Green Bay defense is better than I.
It is Jair Alexander. You don't. They lock down the receivers. I get it, but you still have to find a way to get more than 86 yards.
Right. I completely agree with that. So,
it
wasn't his best performance, and the loss. 22
good for the Chiefs.
It's great for the Chiefs. It gives them their second loss. I like putting a little distance between us and everybody else that was going to be competing with us for playoff spots and home field advantage. So I wasn't unhappy with the result at all. It just goes. It's just another thing that proves how strong that NFC North is going to be.
Yeah. Well, staying in the AFC, Cincinnati went to Cleveland. Cincinnati pulls out a 21-14 win. Burrow does his thing, and this is a division game, always tough, 7 point, but
I think this is the first time Burrow beat Cleveland.
Well, yeah, his numbers were piss poor. I know. Forget we talked about it last week, and I knew the stat came up. He was like only won once or something.
Right. Yeah. Who knows if he does win that game if Deshaun Watson doesn't go down with an Achilles tendon and lost for the season.
Yeah, and I think his numbers against the Ravens are piss poor too. But
yeah, he doesn't do good against the
division teams.
This division, yeah. He just goes and beats everyone else.
So he doesn't do good in hard games, is what you're saying. Well, anyway, he pulled this game out, but Deshaun Watson was lost for the season for Cleveland.
Yeah, It's got to be a bummer for them. This trade has definitely not worked out.
No, it's been totally horrible. It's the worst trade possibly ever.
Right.
I mean, there you got Herschel, and you got a couple things like that.
Herschel's probably the worst, but this one's up there because they did it to themselves by once they made this trade, they fully guaranteed it.
Guaranteed that for
contract.
sure.
That's never been done before,
and it hasn't been done since.
Right. So you did it to yourself.
Yeah, you lock yourself into a perv.
But you are torturing your fans with this because they're locked in for what was it, 146 million?
And that's the next 2 years. That's not including this year.
Right.
Yeah.
That is
72 point something a year.
A year. That is a monster number. Now I imagine they can give some of that in like signing bonus and whatnot.
You just eat it.
That cap number down.
You just eat it and suck for the next 2 years. You just trade off what you got, and you get a bunch of draft assets, and you come back in 2 years.
Do you realize they're trying to get a new stadium there for their?
I don't care. Like,
you can't just tank and say, "Give us a new stadium too."
Listen, the Cleveland fans are smarter than that. They are.
Yeah,
they are smarter than that. And if they know they can tear it down and get better again, and like they'll be in the draft going for one of the top guys this year, well, fucking do it.
It's not that old of a stadium.
I don't care about the stadium stuff. I'm just talking about football.
Well, I know, but
I could give a shit less.
It's hard to say we're going to tank when that's that big of a thing on the table.
Well, for me,
it matters.
It does matter. It only matters to ownership.
Well, I mean,
it really doesn't matter to the people. Really, they're going to go regardless if it's in the old stadium or the new stadium.
Well, I agree with that, but I think the old stadium location's better. It's right there on the lake, but whatever.
Everybody wants new amenities. It's all for the owners. It's not for the people. I don't give a shit what they say.
I agree. I just can't imagine. That's a hard sell. We're just going to tank for 2 years. But hey, that's what Denver's going with.
I mean, it's not a hard sell because that's what's going to happen. How are they going to get better?
Well, you're going to have to draft a quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to suck.
They're going to eventually have to move on from Watson at some point.
So whatever they have this year, short of Myles Garrett, they should be dumping.
Right. Yeah.
And then they could be good next year. Nobody's saying they're not, but they need to be moving on from Watson because the dude just popped his Achilles. He ain't coming back till next year.
Right.
Well, we know that,
and they're going mid-season at best.
Hey, he would be a great quarterback to put somebody behind. They can go out there and take a beating and show them the way not to do it. All right.
Right. Yeah, we spent way more time on that game than I figured we would.
That's all right. There was shit to talk about.
Right. So, yeah, Philly heads to the New York, Big Apple, take on the Giants. Reunion for
Scotty K.
Yeah, and Saquon Barkley got to go home, play his former team for the first time.
Yeah, he did well.
Yeah, he lit him up.
He bent him over is what he did.
Absolutely.
And he raw dogged him.
Yeah. Philly definitely looked much better once they got both the receivers back. Hurst looked a little bit more like the quarterback from a couple years ago because I hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah, Philly definitely looked a lot better, but, I mean, it is the Giants. The Giants are a very bad football team. They'll be a top 5 draft pick, I think. Sorry, Scotty. It's just the truth.
He'll be happy with a new quarterback.
What's crazy is that you guys could re-sign that clown at quarterback, but you couldn't keep Barkley. I think you made the wrong call there.
Yeah, that's kind of tough because you wouldn't do it, and I normally wouldn't sign a running back to a second deal, especially at the top of the market.
I wouldn't want to, but if I'd run my franchise as poorly as the Giants and he was my only offensive weapon, I'd absolutely get on it over Daniel Jones.
It'd be a hard decision for me.
How didn't they see the huge red flags with Daniel Jones?
He would have been a perfect fit for the Chiefs' offense.
Who? Barkley? Oh, absolutely. He's a perfect fit for anybody's offense.
Well, that's probably true.
Sorry, New York Football Giants, but you made the wrong call.
Yeah, you did. So next week's opponent, Raiders.
Hell yeah.
They went and got beat.
Raider week.
They went and got beat.
That's what they do.
Yep. They went to see the Rams. They went to L.A. Short little trip.
One of their former homes.
Yeah, one of their many homes. They went home. They went back to L.A. They saw a whole bunch of their old friends. They probably got some batteries thrown at them. and the Rams beat them 20-15.
Yeah.
That's what the Rams do.
Yeah, Rams house.
Yeah, coaching wins. And
Yeah,
Antonio Pierce is not the superior coach between him and Sean McVay.
No. The fact that it was even as close as that score was just tells you how banged up the Rams are right now. But, yeah, the Raiders are a bad team. They're back in the basement where they belong in the AFC West. And I look forward to the next week's game. I think it could be a get-right game for the Chiefs when we travel back to Arrowhead West or Arrowhead Casino, whatever you want to call it.
Well, Pierce is a joke. He is, if you went on Temu and ordered Dan Campbell, that's what you get.
Yeah, he's.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if he knows if he's in that class, but
well, that's what he's trying to be, right? He's trying to be, but he's not even 1/10. So you know what I mean?
No,
he's your Wish guy. He's your Temu guy. He's your Walmart.
Yeah. Kmart Blue Light Special.
Absolutely. So I'm not afraid of him.
That's what my age.
He lets his guys talk about Patrick Mahomes like they're Kermit the Frog. Let's see what that looks like. Like Mahomes is looking shit. He's got 6 touchdowns this year.
But he has a few more after this.
Yeah, he'll have 4.
I hope so. I would love to see a get right game from Mahomes.
Maybe he'll truck somebody in that game too.
Yeah. That will be one of those reels
forever.
That'll be one of those reels that's displayed when he's going to Cooperstown.
Absolutely, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because he's. Yeah,
so Mustafa, at least you're gonna get in the Hall of Fame one way.
Canton, not Cooperstown. Wrong sport.
Yeah,
my bad.
Well,
Canton.
Yeah, that's kind of like getting postered by Jordan.
Absolutely.
Mustafa's gonna be like.
Dude, that's going to be my screensaver at some point on my phone.
Oh, you got to have the GIF where it just sees him knocking down and then staring over him.
And to watch that guy just lay out. I mean, he put a good hit on Kareem Hunt earlier.
Yeah.
And he knocked Xavier Worthy out of the game for a few plays.
Then the enforcer came in.
And then Pat's like, hold my beer.
No shit. That's right. And he just went and he knocked the shit out of that guy. And that guy is ripped as.
Absolutely. That was my favorite thing I saw was the meme of it showed that guy shirtless next to Mahomes shirtless,
right?
And that guy is ripped. He has muscles on top of muscles, and then Mahomes out there just, oh my God, that was my favorite part of the game. And if I'd been filming myself while I was watching that game, you guys would have got a kick out of that because I was going freaking nuts.
It's the same guy that tiptoed down the sideline for 33 yards too. Right. So it's not like he's just throwing his weight around.
Yeah, and someone called it a fake step out. I'm like, there was no fake step out.
It's called a juke.
Yeah. Sorry, your guy took a bad angle after Kareem Hunt blocked him.
It's not like this is college where people are faking slides and then getting up and running.
Oh, wait. No, Josh Allen does that, though.
Oh, that's true.
Mr. Fake Slide. I saw that. He ended up getting a touchdown when he did that. I was like, man, I bet nobody buys that again.
No shit. You're going to get knocked out.
You'll get knocked up. Look out.
Yeah. Well, Washington went into Carolina and did to Carolina what everybody does to Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina's just playing for the number 1 draft pick at this point, I think, because they're bad. And why don't you put Young back in at this point?
I saw he had 2. He went 2 for 2 for -4 yards.
Oh, so they did put him back in at some point.
Yeah, but trick plays or something. I don't know. I don't have the good fortune of watching Carolina games every week.
Yeah, good fortune. That's the word.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. I miss them every week for some reason or another. It's hard, but I don't seem to make it. But it does look like Washington put it to them. But they may have lost Jalen Daniels for a week or two. He went down.
Yeah, rib injury
right at the beginning of the game. 6 yards, 2 completions.
Yeah, it's a rib injury. It looks
for
bad,
a quarterback. A rib injury could be a lingering issue.
It absolutely could, but the coach kind of acted like he didn't think it was going to be last too long.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's not the case.
As he goes in, have you ever had bruised ribs?
Yeah,
they fucking suck.
Yeah, it sticks with you, but we'll see how tough this kid is.
If it's on his throwing side, it's going to be tough. If it's on his other side and he can wear a flak jacket and he can kind of protect it.
Right.
I see him coming back a lot sooner. But if it's on his throwing side and every time he's got to unleash that ball, oof.
Yeah.
I don't feel good for him.
Yeah, I definitely don't either. And he's so young. Why rush it back? You guys are playing pretty good football. But if he can go, you can go. Just maybe not run so much for a little bit until them ribs get a little
You know,
Feel better.
at least they had that team player Mariota on there to come back and help him out. You know, because he's such a good teammate. We saw that on quarterback last year on Netflix. How good of a teammate he was when he got benched.
Well, I mean, he was going to get surgery, so I mean,
Whatever.
just saying.
Whatever.
Just saying.
Oh my God. He just disappeared on the team at
I
that
agree,
point.
but
He just fucking bailed.
all right,
You know it. I know it. Everybody watching the show knows it.
right.
It's not like they edited the show to make him look like an asshole. He's a fucking quitter.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
He did. He absolutely did. So,
Well, he won that game.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, most quarterbacks should against Carolina. They are a very bad football team.
speaking of mid quarterbacks, the Jets got beat by a couple other mid quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Russell Wilson.
and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, 8 years ago, this would have been a badass game.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
now we were treated to a 15 to 37 ass whipping by Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, the Jets, they've lost like 4 straight now. They're just not looking very good. Rodgers
Yeah.
doesn't look good. Doesn't look comfortable behind that line. Brees Hall looked great that game, but it wasn't enough. It didn't matter. Pittsburgh just was a better team this week, and Russ.
Pittsburgh's a better team, not just this week.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Coaching.
Yeah,
I mean, there's probably some better skill position players on the Jets, but besides that,
Jets
and
got a pretty good defense.
and they
though.
think that by having Devontae and Hassan Reddick back, that's going to change. I hear Aaron Rodgers is talking about, you know, we get Reddick back, we got Devontae, you know, we got time to change this around. Well, you got 5 losses, dude. You better turn it around quick.
Yeah, I mean, how many more losses you think you can have before you don't make the playoffs?
Because are you talking about getting home field? Because Chiefs are 5 games up on you at this point. You might want to start winning something.
Yeah, home field's out. I think the division's out for them. Wild card's the only thing they can look for at this point, and the AFC's pretty good.
Yeah, the only other team that would have a chance, I think, at home field if the Chiefs were to stumble would be Baltimore.
Right.
They played Tampa this week. Turned out to be a better game than you thought it was going to be like halfway through.
Right. I mean, Tampa jumped out that 10-point lead.
Yep.
And then Baltimore roared back for like 34 straight, and it was Tampa tried to make it interesting at the end.
Yeah.
But,
They tried.
Baltimore looked really good and made a pretty good Tampa team look pretty average.
Well, when you lose Mike Evans
True.
and Godwin,
True. Yeah,
I mean, that's like 2 number ones. It's not just like 1 number one. That's like 2 number ones.
true. Receivers are dropping like flies this season.
It's nature of the beast. You know what I mean? It just, they do every year. It's just not the ones that you think it's going to be.
Right. Well, that definitely doesn't help the Chiefs cause Tampa Bay needing receivers too now. So
Yeah, well, you know, their division's wide open and they can make a run still.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Atlanta got beat, you know.
yeah, they're
So-
still tied for leading their division. They're right there with Atlanta at 4-3. So
Yeah. And
they're they're all right.
Baltimore looked really good. Lamar looked freaking amazing as he usually does in the regular season.
5 touchdowns. Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, he is the most dynamic player in the NFL. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's an awesome quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
And speaking of running backs, Derrick Henry's fitting in just fine there at Baltimore.
did you see Lamar lead blocking for him?
Yeah, what's he thinking?
Hey, man, you know what?
I mean, it's cool that
It
you want
is
to do
cool.
that, and it's
Yep.
cool that you're fast enough that you can get out in front of Derrick, but he don't need your help. That guy's been an All-Pro without behind Tennessee's line.
right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Well, yeah, Baltimore looks like the other team to beat. I mean, they really do look like the team to beat in the AFC if they already weren't down a game, you know?
Right? You mean 3 does?
Oh, yeah. Yes, 3. So, you know, we're sitting there with a cushion. The
Right.
Chiefs are sitting there with a cushion in the AFC where as long as they, you know, just play for par, you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
But
When the games we're supposed to win.
But there's only one really tough game left on the schedule against the Bills, and the rest of it is very, very beatable schedule.
I don't know, that Houston game still lingers.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold.
The defense is legit in Houston. They got
And
a good defense.
Yeah, Stroud just went for 86 yards.
I know. He had a bad game.
What's he going to do against the Chiefs' defense if Green Bay's defense is good? Just saying.
Hopefully he has another bad game, but he'll probably have Nico back
He
by
will.
then. So who knows?
Well, sticking in the AFC, just because we got to finish up here, freaking Harbaugh went and took it on the chin by Arizona. What a boring freaking game that was. The only thing I saw good in that game was Kyler had one good run up the sideline. Ran for like 40-yard touchdown. Besides that, it was a bunch of field goals and a bunch of trash.
If you like field goals,
I don't.
Okay, well then it's probably wasn't.
I'm not against them, but I don't want to watch 5 of them. That's why you lose.
Oh, absolutely.
Field goals are the reason why teams lose.
Absolutely. And you don't hear me complaining about the Chiefs' red zone this week because they were good there.
Well,
the Chargers were god-awful in their red zone this week.
Well, Harbaugh can't coach like he does in college. It's changed since the last time he was here.
Oh, yeah, the game's changed a lot since he was
And if
here.
you're going to play ball control football, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose a lot, especially when your quarterback's good, but not great.
He's not good. What has he done? What has he done? He can put up numbers, but that doesn't make him good. Has he won anything? Not even a playoff game.
No, he hadn't won a playoff game yet, but he's still young.
Has he won a division?
No, but
has he won an MVP?
No. Okay, he's not going to win the division while he's in Mahomes.
He's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. That's what I said.
Yeah, he's Kirk Cousins.
I didn't say he was great. I didn't say he was elite.
Yeah,
I said he was good.
He's Kirk Cousins.
And then you said he wasn't, and then now you're
saying
he's good.
He's not. He's Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback.
He just won a freaking playoff game last year, and he's fucking 37?
He keeps his teams competitive. They win. They make the playoffs.
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of good quarterbacks that what separates them as being great and elite is winning in the playoffs.
Well, I just don't want anybody to think that Harbaugh got set up with this great quarterback and now he should automatically win because he's got Herbert.
Well, I mean,
he's a functional quarterback. He's a top 15 guy, and you would rather have him than others. But there's 10 guys I can think of I'd rather have besides him.
I don't know if I got 10.
I think I could find 10.
I don't know if I got 10, but I also don't think he's had a good coach yet. Now, Harbaugh may turn out to be the first good coach he's had because Harbaugh's won wherever he's went. Is he going to win this time? I don't know. We'll see. He might have went to the wrong division.
Well, of course he's in the wrong division.
Because Peyton's here, Reed's here, and as long as Reed and Mahomes is in this division, he ain't winning.
Well, Herbert's in the wrong division too. Anybody that's in this division is the wrong division if you want to win.
Run. Go find someplace safe to play.
Yeah. So anyway, Arizona wins that game. They win. They're not very impressive either, but they go in there and they win.
I mean, nobody's all that impressive right now in the NFC West, so it's kind of wide open for them. Seattle don't.
Nobody's that impressive in the NFC at all.
Well, I think
Washington stands out a little bit. Philadelphia went off this week.
Detroit's a very good team.
Detroit's good. Minnesota's good.
I think Green Bay's good, and I think Chicago might be good.
Then let's just do a little test here. If Detroit was in the AFC, where would they be? Would they be better than the Chiefs? No. Would they be better than the Bills?
They might be playing better than the Chiefs right now.
Would you put them higher than Baltimore?
Yes.
I wouldn't. Would you put them higher than? So I guess for me, I wouldn't put them higher than Buffalo either.
No, I'd definitely put them.
They would be 4th for me, and Minnesota would be there at 5th.
I'd put them below Baltimore, higher than Buffalo, higher than Houston, whoever's 3rd, whatever.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
So I would say Detroit would be about 3rd best in this division.
3rd or 4th best in the AFC.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
and they might be even better than that. It remains to be seen.
There's more or they may be worse. Everybody's an injury away from being
right. Losing
terrible.
Hutchinson didn't help them.
No, and if they lose Goff,
if they lose Goff,
or there's other people.
Any team lose their starting quarterback, they're not going to be as good as they were.
Yeah, or they lose Amon-Ra, or Jamison Williams has been playing good this year. But we're not wishing that on anything. No. But to our point is the NFC North is freaking stacked.
Correct.
Like 5-1 Detroit, 5-1 Minnesota, 5-2 Green Bay. They're up a half game, really. I mean, down a half game from everybody.
No, they just played one more. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the only team
at this point,
it's crazy. It's
like
early
baseball.
in the season. They're the only team in their division that hasn't had a bye week.
Yeah, and Chicago is 4-2. Who would have said that after the first couple games of the year?
Right. Chicago to be sitting there 4-2.
Yeah, and we called him a bust.
You called him a bust.
I called him a bust.
Thank you. Just for the record, I did not. I was not ready. I'm not going to call somebody a bust 2 games in their season.
Well, he sure looked like it.
I mean, he didn't look great, but I mean, most quarterbacks don't in their first game in the pros. So
I remember my first game in the pros.
Yeah, I bet you
It didn't go very well.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the water boy gig he had was pretty fantastic.
No, so the NFC North. So obviously it's going to be, well, you want to say it's Detroit and Minnesota, but Green Bay is just as good as those teams.
I agree.
Chicago's going to be the loser in this, right? There's no doubt.
Yeah, I think
they're playing better than anyone expected them to, except for maybe themselves and their moms.
Or Kyle Brandt.
But, whatever.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
Well, it's all going to, well, you can go off on that in a minute, but they are, like, it's all going to come down to, this is truly a division. You're going to win. Whoever wins the division is going to be battle tested. They're going to move on. I don't know that more than 2 are going to move out of this division because they're just all going to beat the piss out of each other, unless one team just dominates the other 2. Like if Detroit beats the whole division and just goes 5-1 in the division, you know what I mean? Then they're going to run away.
Right.
But Green Bay could do the same thing, and that's really
absolutely
what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Yeah, that division definitely going to be decided by how they play against each other.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with what's outside.
Because the rest of the teams in the NFC aren't all that great. I mean, there's Philly's okay.
Yeah.
Commanders look okay. Look pretty good, but they're,
3 of the 4 best teams in the NFC are there.
Right.
You take San Francisco out, if you consider San Francisco one of the best.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what I think about San Francisco yet.
They're a good defense.
They're a good defense. They're
injured.
They're injured.
They got a shitty coach.
Well, I wouldn't call him a
they
shitty coach.
They got a coach that can't win in the playoffs.
You got a coach that doesn't finish games very well.
You got a coach that chokes in big games. Let's just put it that way, because he can get you there.
Right, and then Purdy's good, but I just don't think.
See, and I think that's kind of the problem too. Like I think, and I'm not gonna go sticking up for him too much, but if Shanahan had a better quarterback, I think they probably would have won one of those games.
One of those 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Garoppolo wasn't terrible,
but I'm just saying, like if he would have had a legit, like if he would have had Herbert, he might have won.
Was Herbert even in the league then?
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he was.
That kind of quarterback.
He might have been.
Whatever.
That might have been his first year. I can't remember. But yeah, that would have been close to his first year. Yeah, they would have probably had a better chance. I don't know that they still would have won.
Well,
I just feel like the Chiefs find a way.
Speaking of winning, how the fuck didn't Mahomes win Angry Run this week?
Yeah,
Kyle Brandt, you fucked up.
Yeah, I agree completely. That was such a fucking layup. 2 of your co-hosts on that show picked Mahomes. You went with...
Well, of course, Schrags is going to pick him.
Schrags wasn't even there.
Oh, really?
Right. And everyone's just like, they showed this picture of, him jacked up next to Dad Bod. And then they showed another picture of Mahomes standing on this guy next to Muhammad Ali standing over Liston. And it's just like the most iconic photos you'd ever seen.
Right.
I was just like, this is the most slam dunk, and you'll never have another opportunity to give him a scepter.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. You missed your one chance to give him a scepter, and you chose not to.
Kyle,
you gave it to Saquon Barkley.
Such a Bills homer.
Yeah, Kyle, I don't know if you've ever gave one to a Chiefs. I think you've done it once, but can't remember who it was. But I know we've been robbed several times. We know you don't like us.
We know you don't like the Chiefs.
You've robbed us several times, and I won't lie. I do feel like this segment, Angry Runs, kind of jumped the shark last year anyway when you gave it to the NBA announcers when some stage thing where Kenny Anderson shoves Shaq.
When they were playing grab ass?
Yeah, grab ass under the Christmas tree. Please.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Shaq had to explain to him what the damn scepter was anyway. So I'm just like, that was the most jump the shark moment ever. that week it should have been Pacheco. I've been pissed ever since then, and you did it to us again. I'm done with that segment, Kyle. I ain't watching it no more.
So what we're saying, Kyle, is we're not very happy with you.
No, I'm done with your Angry Run segment. It's dead to me.
You know what I'm done with?
What?
This podcast.
Absolutely. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yep. Come back next week. We'll have more bullshit.
Yeah, because that's what we do.
Later.
Later.